Hey, Tony and Corey here, your Parr Weekend Warriors, and today we're in the Weekend Warriors workshop. And you know, Tony, we've been trying to make this place a little bit better, a little bit at a time. We've built this awesome workbench.
I was thinking more like a turntable. We could DJ. We could do a little no, oh. You know what we really need, more than anything, is a workstation for our miter saw.
We've been using that miter saw, our Makita miter saw, a lot lately, and right now we just have it sitting on a cabinet, and it's just not very efficient.
Yeah, I mean, this is a work in progress. This is a pretty new space for us, and we're having to build a lot of the things that make it workable and efficient, and honestly, that's just the next thing up on the list.
All right, so today we're gonna build a Weekend Warrior style
Miter box.
Miter stand.
Miter stand.
Welcome to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Parr Lumber. Your Weekend Warriors, Tony and Corey.
All right, so we have the miter saw sitting like this.
The first thing we do is draw it up on the workbench and work through some of the details.
We decided to build it out of 2x4, 2x6, 4x4, 3/4 inch plywood, and a sheet of 1/4 inch tempered hardboard to give us a super smooth surface.
I see my first contribution is the motor on the saw.
We're building this in 3 sections. The primary table for the saw and 2 outfeed tables to the left and to the right.
The actual dimensions here are irrelevant because it will be different for everyone. So instead, we'll just cover the thought process behind what we did. We set the primary table width to fit the saw and the height to be optimal for saw usage. But most importantly, we needed the side tables to be the same height as the cutting surface on the chop saw.
So we're gonna make 3 pieces. The middle one's 28 inches wide and the wings are 34 inches wide.
What is this height?
We need this dimension here, from this surface to this surface.
I used a level as a straight edge to determine the distance from the top of the cutting surface to the top of the primary table.
You like that antique bubble level we used as a straight edge? We got that for 50 cents at the Habitat for Humanity Restore.
That was a good find.
After drawing the table, we decided to add a lower shelf for added rigidity, and because we had some leftover material. We put that shelf about 8 inches off the floor. How about those nifty 3-dimensional drawing skills Corey has?
Thanks, Tony. Of course, Tony gets the final approval.
Now that we have the design, we select our material from the pile and start cutting. We started on the primary table and cut the legs to length first.
The legs were cut at full height, less the thickness of the plywood, to give us our exact height. We are using S-dry 2x4 Doug fir and hem fir posts. If your workbench is touching concrete, it'd be a good idea to use pressure-treated posts.
After we double check our dimensions, we're ready to assemble using Fasten Master headlock and wood screws. We wanted to use just 1 sheet of plywood, so we pre-cut it at the lumber yard using a panel saw. And that tied us to a table depth of 24 inches.
Here's where things go sideways. We realized after screwing the frame together, we assembled it backwards, which made our overall depth 27 inches. We had to take it apart and switch those pieces.
We'll have 3 total tables. Once we got it put back together, we did a test fit and it looked good. Now to repeat the process, cutting and assembling the 2 side tables.
Man, these headlock screws are super strong.
There they are.
You'll notice we ran the front and back of our frame long, so we can tie the legs of all 3 sections together to make it super sturdy.
We actually had to rack the frame to make sure it was square before screwing down the top. We used our favorite tool, the Makita plunge saw and track, to cut the plywood to length.
Without a table saw, it's the only way to get straight cuts. I dropped 1.25 inch wood screws into the top to secure it while Tony held it square.
Yeah, that's not bad.
show how awesome it is.
Let's put a level on this. Yeah, see, it's not even level. The table's not level. The floor is probably not level. We got a lot done tonight, Corey, but we didn't get it all done.
No, we ran into some snags and we realized that the floor isn't level in this workshop. So what we're gonna do in the next video is get some leveling feet.
The plan ultimately is to have 3 separate tables, one to hold the saw and 2 wing tables that are at the same height as the miter saw. We got 2 built. We couldn't finish the last one because we cut our last piece of 4x4 too short. Here's the deal. Everybody makes mistakes on their projects. Most of the time they don't show you.
We'll be back with part 2, so stick around for that. We'll catch you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out our social channels right here.
Our podcast channels here, or tune into the Weekend Warriors radio show every weekend across the Pacific Northwest.
This has been another episode of your Parr Weekend Warriors.
We'll see you next time. Hi. Miter stand.
All right, ready?
Miter stand.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Work stand for our miter saw?
Just say miter stand.
Okay.